Good morning and welcome back. This morning what I'm trying to do is rectify, correct and carry on with the painting I showed you the last video I put up, and I wasn't happy with it, but now I feel I can move on with it hopefully and correct it hopefully. Here goes. I'm going to turn you around, see what's going to happen. First can I just show you my lovely roses over there? They're just a beautiful, beautiful colour and also a beautiful, beautiful smell. Just get my cup out of the way, put it over there. So there's the lovely roses. I've got the gorgeous perfume from them. Now what I want to do is position this if I can. I'm not good at positioning the camera, I don't know why, just haven't got the right, I haven't got the knack of it yet, but I'm going to hopefully probably try and get something overhead would be better. Sorry about my creaky chair as well. So what I want to do is, this painting I saw in Somerset, and there was a beautiful rainbow over the top there, which I haven't put in yet, but it made this field here, rapeseed field, in the background very pale, and the trees here, it casts this lovely pale light. And here in the foreground, what I want to do is, it had this lime green. Now I'm just going to get my water. Had this lime green along here, and in the foreground, right at the front here, it had some lovely, well, it is a cornfield actually. But what I want to do first is I'm going to try this out. I think I need to actually make this dark here. So then when it's dry, I can paint the corn on top of it. So I'm going to actually put some very dark, I hope you can see this, very dark paint across here. Move this jar out the way. So then when I come to paint on top, you'll see the corn underneath. I'm trying not to get this too wet because actually it's gouache and it does pick up the other colours from the paint underneath from the last time I painted. There's quite a lot of different layers of paint now on this. I'm going to be, actually, I want to move those cups out the way. I've got 2 cups on the go. I've got coffee and lemon tea together, just so I don't have to get up again. I like to have a lemon tea when I'm talking, just in case I get a bit, throaty. So this has got to be dark, without too much messing around. And then in a moment, when it's dry, hopefully in a moment, I'm going to paint the cornfield on top. Such a glorious sight. I did take one photo of it when I was passing it, but it hasn't really come out that good, so I'm having to paint this from memory mostly. Which is a good thing because it might turn out a lot better than if I was to just reference it from the photograph. Anyway, that's the dark layer which I want. there's like, I don't know if animals had walked through it, but there were separations and it looked like a little footpath leading up through. So that's what I want to particularly show the darker underneath. So it comes through a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of blue in it as well, just to darken it a bit more. Trouble is with gouache, it does catch up and brings up the colour from underneath, which actually is fantastic when you're working on a piece, but also it can be quite annoying because of the different layers I've got underneath. It does, or it is bringing it up and through. Anyway, what I'm going to do here is just make the pathway, just so I know where I'm going with it, around here. I hope you can see this. Quite messy at the moment. Well, what I normally do is get a hairdryer and dry that off, but actually I haven't got a hairdryer at hand. I'm just going to waft it a little bit, see if I can dry it enough so that I can now go in with the yellow underneath. What I might do is get a penknife, see if this works as well. Sometimes I do this with acrylic. It might actually work. So I get a little, it's not a penknife, it's a paper cut knife, and just go up through like that. Actually, it could work quite well. Scrape through, because this is where the little path is that was made by some passing animal, probably some deer. Quite a lot of deer around that area. You can see it's actually bringing up the lighter colour underneath. Push that over a bit and you can see it a bit more. So I quite like that. That's quite a nice idea. Of course, as you get closer to the front, they get much longer. Then you've got the actual little corn heads, which go something like this. I won't do every single one, but what I will do is a couple, 2 or 3 around the front, so you get the idea of it. Yes, that's working nicely against that dark undercolour that I just put on. So I'm just literally scraping back the paint. Actually, it's working much better than I thought. Because it's still a bit damp, I can actually scrape quite a lot. I'm going to do it quite quickly while it's at that stage. So the opening, or rather the little pathway, is here. Whoops. I'm going to scrape it back like this. I've got to be careful not to scrape the paper. This is actual, I think it's, oh yes, it's that Bristol board that I'm using, which is quite nice to take out to use. So that's working really well there, like that. don't want to do is put every blade of corn, I'm sure it's corn or rye, I just want to make it the impression of it. And in a moment what I will do is add some of this lovely yellowy colour back in here and there where I initially put it. This golden colour of, what do you call it? A rapeseed, that's what it is in the background here. It seems to seed itself everywhere. Gets blown around a bit and seeds itself. I don't think it's supposed to be there with the corn. I think it's supposed to be over on this bit here. Oops, don't want that. Just a tiny touch here and there I'll put in, like that. So it indicates that's where it's come from, at the back there. So what I want here at the front is that lovely corn colour. So I'm going to use some yellow ochre. This was a sketch that I started outdoors. That's why I've done it on this board rather than putting it on a canvas. And what's happened is I've carried on with the painting, but it is on board, not on a canvas, which is fine. A lot of people use these boards. I like something a bit thicker. So that's the path that I want to just indicate. It's coming together now a bit more. I hope you can see that. And then I can just add, as I say before, the little corn heads. One or two here and there. Just to indicate that it is the cornfield. So I'm quite happy with how it's going now. I didn't like the last one I did. Maybe make it a bit more like that idea, I think. Yes, it's not a straight line. I hate straight lines. I always say there's no such thing as a straight line in nature. But some people say, well, actually there are. But not many. The brush I'm using is just a little flat one, and it's, to be honest, it's a little bit, that is not the right brush. It's a bit small. I really need a, hang on a minute, I'm going to go over, stretch over there and get a bigger brush. This is just, let's get that one a bit bigger than that. So I've got two sizes now to choose from. I think the big one, I'm going to go for that one. Yeah. Go large. Stops you fiddling around. Stops me fiddling around anyway. So you can see by putting on the dark underneath, it's allowed some of that shadow to come through, which I'm really pleased about. As I say, the corn looked like it was going in all directions. I think some animals had been going through it. So what I'm going to do is make some marks where it goes either way like this. So it looks like it's been blown around. That's the other thing, it could have been blown around by the wind. I hope you get the gist of what I'm doing. Just add a little bit of lemon there. Cross over like that, crisscross. Crisscrossing. And then hopefully it gives the impression of it blowing around in the cornfields. So I'm going to let that dry now. And the last thing that I want to do is just put the corn heads, one or two here and there. So I'm going to leave this to dry. And I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you do, please like and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, and it will let you know when I've got a new video out if you're interested. There we go. So I'm going to leave it just there, let that dry off a bit because I don't want to mess it around too much. Just going to add a little more shading down there where the little pathways leading out like that, and a bit more there. This is quite a dry brush now I'm using, just stipple it a little bit with so it's not taking too much. That's a bit light now. I'm going to darken it through there like that. So I'm quite happy with that at the moment. What I'm going to do is just let it dry because it's got quite thick actually, the paint, because as I say, I've done quite a lot of layering the paint there, which I quite enjoyed doing. But I'm going to try and put the rainbow in here as well at the background at some point. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and thank you for coming back to my channel, and hopefully I'll show you the result in the next video. Thank you for watching.